there's one bit of the puzzle that's still missing. So we've seen that Monty spends a lot of time in this room, the main room. We've also seen him in the function room. But we have seen him venture outside of this room already in what I call Python City. And so far, we've seen him doing this when we say import random or import any other module. This is when he leaves the main room, goes down to downtown Python City or town center at Python City or city center rather, and there's this big library in the middle. What else is there in Python City? And when else does he go and find things elsewhere in the city? Let's have a look. Let's look at line 5, when I wrote print parentheses my name. And we said that whenever Monty sees the word print, he's going to look in the room. There is no book named print. There are no boxes named print. There is no door in the main room leading to another room. There is no function you have defined in this program called print. But he finds print in red booklet. And when I've talked about red booklet before, I said, oh, that means Monty knows what print is. And I've sort of pretended that there's nothing else to it. Let's see what Monty finds out in this red booklet. Remember, this is an analogy, right? So this is not what happens in real life. So when Monty picks the red booklet, he looks inside, he finds the page that has print on it. What he has there is directions in Python City where he can find a standalone room that's labeled print. So a little standalone building, if you like. So what the red booklet tells him is, if you want to know where print is in Python City, this is how to get to. It's like an address. So what Monty does is he leaves the main room, goes down Python City. He knows where to find this little room called print. It's a function. So it's similar to the function room that we created when you created add numbers wrongly. The difference is it's not adjacent. You didn't create it yourself. It's someone else created it. So it's somewhere in central Python City, if you like, because it's an important function. So the red booklet tells him how to find it. Once he finds it, he finds a door labeled print. He goes in. He didn't go empty-handed, of course, because before he left the room, he took the contents of the box my name. So he's carrying the string Steven with him down Python City. He finds the print room, the standalone room in Python City, goes in. There he's going to find a box. Doesn't matter what the label of the box is. We don't know, right? Because unless we look at the source code of print, which you can if you want, but actually it's more complicated than that. Let's ignore that. He does whatever print needs to do. We don't need to know what print does, how it does it rather. We know what it does. We don't need to know how. That's a nice thing of functions, right? Once you know how to use a function, you don't really care how it's written. So Monty goes off in the print room, does whatever he needs to do. He comes back out. Print doesn't return anything, right? So he's going to come back with none, with nothing. But it could be a function that returns something. We'll see in a second. And then he goes all the way back to the main room. So that's what's in the red booklet. So Python City has everything else that Monty needs to know. For example, random.rendint. Let me write it again here. Random.rendint, any numbers you want, right? 1,10. So Monty reads line 7. We've already seen that random is a book on the shelf. He's in the main room, right? He picks this, looks inside it, and he finds the page with rendint. What's in this page? You probably guessed it. It's the directions within Python City where Monty can find the rendint function. It's actually in a little sort of quarter of the city. It's a random quarter, right? Because the random book, all the items in the random book are in the same neighborhood, if you like, in the same area of Python City. So they're all going to be there. But the random book tells him this is where you can find all the random stuff. And the rendint room, which is a function, that's the address. That's how you can find it. So Monty leaves again the main room. He doesn't leave empty-handed, right? He's going to take the integer 1 with him and the integer 10. He goes down, hopefully it's a sunny day, he's walking down Python City. He finds the random neighborhood. One of the rooms there is the rendint room. It's a function room. He goes in, does whatever he needs to do there. He comes back out. He's not going to come empty-handed, however. He's carrying something. He's carrying some number between 1 and 10. He goes back to the main room carrying this number. Now, in this case, you may notice that when Monty comes to the main room, he's going to come in and say, oh, I've got the number 4, for example. What do you want me to do with it? Nothing. So in this case, this number goes in the bin. I haven't asked Monty to do anything with this number. I'm not printing it, I'm not using it anywhere else, I'm not storing it anywhere. So this line is giving Monty lots of work for nothing, because once he comes back to the main room, he's going to throw it in the bin and move on. If I want to, I can give it a variable name, some variable, whatever you want to call it. Now, when he comes back from the rand int room carrying this integer, he's going to put it in a box labeled some variable. We don't always have to store it. For example, in this case, you can see that we're not storing the value. We're telling Monty, as soon as you come back, use this value directly in this statement. So depending what you want to do, you can either use the value right away or you can store it in a box. So that is Python City for you. It has lots of different neighborhoods, the random neighborhood and whatever other, the turtle neighborhood, any other module that you can import has its own neighborhood if you like. And of course, it's a city that's growing because there are always new modules that are added, third-party modules. So Python City is growing and it's always being maintained. Even the city center, the core of the city is always being maintained and upgraded. So this is the vision of Monty. He's got the room he's in. There are function rooms, there are boxes and stuff, but there's also Python City with everything else. The whole Python ecosystem is there for Monty to be able to access, as long as he knows how to get to those particular rooms. And that is the story of Monty.